humanity's back was against the wall in the last game, then humanity's about to be tossed over that wall because the locusts are back, they're sinking whole cities. And in the middle of all that, Marcus Phoenix's best friend, Dominic Santiago, is looking for his wife, who's been missing for some time, and he's kind of going around with a photo asking if anybody's seen her. So one of the things we wanted to do is make sure that we kind of break that paradigm of your average FPS where people just run at each other and shoot, kind of like a squirt gun fight. We wanted to make sure it still very much was going in the direction of a paintball fight. So bullets hurt, you take damage, and if you run at somebody, they will physically stop you in the campaign as well as in the multiplayer. And that kind of changes the tactics immediately because suddenly players have to use grenades or they have to flank enemies and flush them out and use teamwork. Yeah, it's kind of funny the way that co-op went from being a feature that's nice but not necessary to very necessary in your average action game lately, which I think is great because I think co-op's a great leg up for a casual gamer to kind of be guided into a more hardcore experience. Regardless of that, we wanted to keep the main campaign, 2 players, and keep it Marcus and Dom's story. But then with having a larger co-op experience in the mode called Horde, which was the goal with that, so that we could allow up to 5 players to team up and deal with the never-ending waves, well, up to 50 waves of locusts, and basically kind of keep it as its own separate mode, so that the main campaign stays intact as a 2-player story. And to make a game a little bit more newbie-friendly, you don't want to dumb the game down per se. You want to just be a little bit more careful with how you tweak the difficulty levels. Internally, we knew we wanted casual to be really, really easy, and then, of course, hardcore and insane are really, really tough. When you make a game, you always have a certain amount of limitations as far as, the amount of people, the amount of time you have to build it, and I did want, in Gears 1, to see people crawling around when they get knocked down, and that's one of the first things we were able to code up in Gears 2 was, people being able to kind of try and get away, which is, kind of a nice last-ditch attempt to get back towards your buddies and get away from your enemies. Those large-scale battles, I think that's its own experience. But I think that's a very different experience from what we're deliberately trying to deliver with Gears, which is a very intimate kind of combat moment. I mean, what we try and do is create a world, not only through the visuals, but also through the writing, the dialogue, the wonderful music score that Steve Jablonsky did, and try and polish that off into what is essentially playing the Hollywood blockbuster experience, start to finish.